Welcome back to Drafting with Mark, and in this video we're going to take a look at dimensioning this one. So if you did not see me create this drawing, please refer to that video if you want to follow along. Alright, so in this video, some of the things that we want to make sure we definitely take a look at is these dimensions. So you see on all of these dimensions that I have the millimeters on top, followed by the inches equivalent on bottom. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Normally the drawings that I do is kind of done the opposite way, but in this one I wanted to make sure I kind of captured this if we was going the other way, right? One thing that I'm not going to do in this one is kind of scale it down. I'm going to keep it at whatever size it is, and I'm going to create the title block in inches. Just keep in mind that the process would be the exact same thing if we did it in millimeters or whatever unit of measurement that you have your title block in. You're still going to have to adjust the scale and figure out what the scale factor is. But in our case, we're just going to use a regular inch size title block, and we're going to put it on there, and we're going to make everything work. All right, so let's jump over to AutoCAD. Okay, so here we have our shape. Remember that we created this shape at 0, 0, right? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create my title block, and I always like to create the lower left corner at 0, 0. I'm also going to be using a B-size title block, and we're going to do this when using the annotation scale. So in this one, we're not going to use paper space or the standard method. I will show you how to use the annotation scale. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is start off by creating a rectangle. I'm going to type in 0, 0, since that's where the lower left corner will be. Go ahead and hit enter. And then you're going to type in the coordinates of the other one. So it's going to be 17, 11 for the other upper right coordinates. So once I hit that, you can see that rectangle. I'm just going to zoom into this rectangle real quick. Let's do an offset. And this is where I'm going to offset the border of my title block. So I'm going to put in 0.25. Go ahead and hit enter. Select the border there, or the rectangle that you selected, and then put it on the inside. Alright, go ahead and escape. Next, I'm going to make this into a block. So I'm going to select both of these rectangles. Now hit the create button. Once the dialog box appears, I'm going to give it a name. In this case, I'm just going to call it TB. And once it's done with that, then that TB just stands for title block. My lower left is already selected. Everything will be converted. I'm going to hit OK. I'm just going to zoom back to the extents now, because that's what I want to do, is see everything. Next, I'm going to select my title block here. Do a right click and go to properties. Once the properties window appear, let's go ahead and adjust the scale X and scale Y. So I'm going to make these numbers 16 and another 16, right? Let's go ahead and kind of zoom everything and make sure that everything fits inside of that, which I think it should. All right, so let's go ahead and move just our parts here. So we're going to go to the move command. I'm going to use one of my blue windows here. And hit enter. I'm going to pick a base point out here, and then I'm going to kind of move this over. Let's go ahead and turn the ortho off. Then that gives me the freedom to move this. Alright, let's go ahead and zoom the extents. This is one of those things that if you're a person that likes to have things centered, I'm going to kind of give you another method here of doing that. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to select all of my arc lines that are creating around this, right? You can see, by the way, that it's all of the stuff except for the circles, right? So what we can do is there's a quick selection option that if I come here and then I choose quick select, and this is one of those things I'm gonna have to be careful on. I already know it when I'm utilizing this command, right? But I'm gonna select in the entire drawing, and I want to select everything that's a circle, right? That is equal to by layer. And I want that to be excluded, right? Because if I tell it included, then everything with a circle will be included. Now you see that everything else is highlighted, right? I'm just going to hold down the control button. And let's see if I can deselect. All right, maybe it's the shift button. Okay, it's the shift button. So I'm going to hold down the shift button, and I'm going to select these two rectangle objects. I'll go to modify. And then I'm just going to go to join, right? So that's kind of one way of me selecting all around this. You can also see that it converted it to one polyline. The benefit of doing this, and you can see as I'm highlighting over this, all of it appears, is that now I can use the geometric center of this shape. So if I go to move, go ahead and select all of this, hold down the shift button and do a right click, and now I have a geometric center that when I come here and click, that's the actual center of that object, right? Oh, sorry, it's still in the selecting objects. Let me go ahead and hit enter. Then I'll shift and right click and go to geometric center. I'll select the geometric center, and now I have the true center of that, and I want to place it at the center of my title block here. So I'm going to do a shift, right click, and I'm going to choose mid between 2 points, right? The reason I can't choose the geometric center on this one is because I made it a block, so that won't work. So I'm going to choose the mid between 2 points. I'm going to select opposite points, so I'm going to select this endpoint here, and then this endpoint. Alright, this shape is totally in the center, so if that's one of the things that you like to do on your drawings, that's one of the other options. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and adjust my annotation scale. So under here where it has 1 to 1, just going to select the fly up, and then I'll choose the 1 to 16. Alright, so once I have that, let's go ahead and put our center marks on this. Remember that this is a metric drawing, so I'm going to adjust the center extension lines, and that's center EXE. Enter. Let's make that number 3. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put my center marks on this. So I'm going to switch over to the Annotate tab. Then I'm going to select Center Mark. And now you want to notice that I'm going to pick on the biggest circles, right, on all of these. So I'm going to select this circle here. I'm going to select this one. This one. I have one up here. One down here. And then finally this one, right? So now all of my center marks are created on this drawing. Now let's go ahead and start doing our dimensions, right? So we're going to use the dimension style, and I'm just going to select this fly down here. Once I do that, the dialog box should appear. Let's double click on Annotated. Let's go to Modify. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the alternate units. So I'm going to select Alternate Units tab. I'm going to tell it to display them. Right now it's telling me that, hey, I'm going to give you decimal, 2 decimal places, and I'm going to scale your number up 25.4. Now that's going the opposite direction. So that's if I want to convert inches into millimeters. In our case, we want to go to the opposite of that. So we're going to have to put in the reciprocal. This is where you're going to come in with a problem. So if I type in 1 divided by 25.4, AutoCAD does not understand that, right? This is one of those things that if we're using the scale command, we can't use this number, right? So you got 2 choices here. You can either pull out your calculator, or if you understand how to move decimal places, the same equivalent to that would be 10 divided by 254. So if I put that in as my multiplier, that's going to be a better number as opposed to pulling out my calculator and it has all of those rounding decimals with it. Next, I'm going to tell it that I want the value to be below it. Okay, our primary units, let's go there. And then we're going to tell it to suppress the trailing zeros, right? We don't want to see those extra zeros that are on our units. Then we're going to go to the Fit tab. There's nothing here to see, but this is one of those things that I check to make sure that I'm adjusting the annotative scale because this is grayed out. Alright, next let's go to the text. So you can adjust the text height to what you want it to be, but what I'm going to also do is adjust that spacing between my dual dimensions. So I'm going to make this number 0.03. Once I hit enter, you're going to see this get a little bit closer, and that looks good for what we need to do. Lastly, I'm going to come to the Symbols and Arrows tab. And then since I went ahead and put the center marks on, I'm just going to tell it don't show any center marks, right? Let's go ahead and hit the OK button and close this. Now let's just do some basic dimensioning here. So I'm just going to use a linear dimension. And remember that anytime I'm doing my linear dimensions, I'm thinking of what command I'm going to use after this one. And so I'm going to use a continue option after this. So I'm going to start here at this endpoint, and I'm going to end here and place this one. I'll come up and place my dimension. So when I use the continue, it's going to automatically go from the last one I went to. So I'm just going to select here and then select here. All right, let's go ahead and hit the escape button. You can also see that those dimensions have the dual dimensions, what you wanted, and you're also getting the 50 on top, which is the millimeter, and you're getting the inch equivalent on the bottom. Alright, let's go ahead and use another linear. Let's start off by selecting here, going to here. Now I could have also used a baseline dimension if I wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and place that dimension here. Okay. Let's go ahead and create another linear dimension. So I'm going to create that linear dimension starting from this endpoint going to this one. Once I go over here and place that dimension, I can use a baseline dimension. And when I do that, it automatically knows that's my first one that I started from. And then I'm going to select here. Now, sometimes I don't like using baseline because this gap is sometimes too small for me. But if that's the case, I can just go ahead and move that, right? So I'm going to select the dimension, then I'll select the grip, kind of pull it back away from it a little bit, and that gives me enough room, right? So that's why I didn't use the baseline up here at the top. Sometimes that spacing is not right, but you can adjust that in the dimension style. All right, next, let's go ahead and do all our diameter dimensions. So we have diameter dimensions on completed circles. So anything that's a completed circle, that's what I want to dimension. And you can see on this drawing we have 3 completed circles, right? We just have these in 2 places. So let's go ahead and take a look at the diameter dimension. I'm going to click and place a dimension here. Next, I'm just going to hit the enter button on my keyboard. I'm going to place this dimension on this one. And then I'll do the same up here at the top, right? Well, let's go ahead and put it down here. It seems like we got a little bit more space here. Alright, so that's all of my diameter dimensions. Let's go ahead and take a look and do our radius dimensions. So we're going to go to radius dimensions. We're going to place one here. Go ahead and hit the enter button just to take me back to the last one. I got a dimension here. I also have one here, so it's starting to get a little crowded on this side. I'm going to go ahead and place this one here. And if you get this extension on it, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to get rid of that. Alright. And then we also have one located here, and that's going to also have that extension on it, right? And I'm just kind of giving my drawing a quick look around, and I think we have one more that we need to place. So I have a radius dimension that is located here. All right, here's a neat little shortcut for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the dimensions that are located in 2 places, right? So I know that this is in 2 places. This one is in 2 places. And I'm just going to kind of highlight all the ones that I know that are in 2 locations. That one as well. Let's see. This one is going to be, yes, in 2 places. This is going to fall into that 2-place category. And then these 2 should fall in the 4-place category, right? But I have these ones that are highlighted and that are selected. I have my properties window still open. I'm going to scroll down until I see text. Then I'm going to come down here to text override. And then in front of this, I'm going to type in 2x, right? Let's go ahead and make that X capitalized. But what I'm going to put after that says that, hey, put 2x in front of it, but keep the original dimension. And the way you do that is with the less than, greater than symbol, right? So that's what you want to show when you're in your text override. And when I hit enter, go ahead and take a look at your dimensions. All of them should adjust to have that 2x on the inside right at the front of them, right? I'm going to go ahead and escape. Likewise with these 2. So I'm going to select that dimension there and then this one. I'm going to come over to the properties window. The first thing I'm going to do is turn the extension line off, and that's going to get rid of that extra circle there that's going around it. All right. And then I'm going to scroll down till I see text, come to the text override, select here, and then I'm going to type in here 4x less than, greater than. All right, and once I hit enter, you're going to get a 4x up here in front of your dimensions. Let's go ahead and escape out of this, and then I'm just going to move this dimension here. So I'm going to select it, and I'll select the grip that's located here, and I'll just pull it around on this side. All right, and just kind of give yourself a quick look over on this one, and I think we got everything covered on this one. So the main point of this drawing is I wanted to make sure I show you how to do dual dimensions. Another benefit to this also is showing you how you can, put the 2x in front of here really quick if you use the properties. So I hope that was something that, maybe I covered in another video that you watched, or, But it's something that is kind of neat tricks and all kinds of things of that nature, right? So I want to thank you if you hung with me this long and you enjoying these type of videos, and also leave in the comments if there's something that you want to see me do, and feel free to share these dimensional type videos, as I'm starting to do more and more of that, since that's kind of the trend of what most people like to see, right? All right, so thank you for watching, and until the next video.